A woman with ties to Charlottesville is missing from Detroit as the search for answers grows more urgent. Jen Solomon spoke with friends here who are desperate to find her and are hoping someone knows something. Jen.
That's right, Aaron. Caitlyn Trestler recently moved to Detroit looking to start over. Now her friends back here at home say every day without answers is becoming more concerning.
Out of Detroit for 2 weeks. Now, her ex-boyfriend is a person of interest.
Now, see, Tucson, I was actually in Tucson. I was in Tucson when I was on the run. So I did one video on this woman already, Caitlyn Tressler. She's been missing out of Detroit and she's considered endangered. Well, I'm considering her endangered because she is with a man that she has no business with. And I'm going to bring you the report background on this individual that the big media is not telling you really his name, but I'm going to tell you everything about him. Like I said, I already did a video on her already, but I'm going to keep doing a video until we find and locate her. Okay. This is Caitlyn Tressler missing out of Detroit. Stay tuned for the details. Not only that, I'm going to talk about some things with Nancy Guthrie. All right. That I keep getting emails on, and I'm gonna let you guys know something. All right, stay tuned. Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases of missing individuals, cases that need a bigger spotlight. We give them a deep dive, sometimes a different look, because I can give it a different look, a different point of view that you guys probably are not used to. Now, see, I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I committed some white collar crime and then went on the run for 15 years. I lived in different countries under different names. I turned myself in. Now I own multiple businesses. I have this YouTube channel. I help family members locate missing people. I also help family members locate individuals that need to be brought to justice because maybe this person hurt another family member. And since I was on the run for so long, successful at it, I can kind of tell you and put you in that mind of what a person might be thinking or what their next move is. Well, we're going to take a look at two things today. All right. First, we're going to talk about Caitlyn Tressler, who I already did one video on. And then we're going to get into Nancy Guthrie. All right. For you guys that's been following me, I actually, some of my Nancy Guthrie videos, I have been sliding somebody else in there that's missing because Nancy's not the only person missing. So I've been sliding another individual in some of my Nancy Guthrie videos so you can get eyes on another person that's missing. All right. So before we get into Nancy, let's get into Caitlyn Tressler. Caitlyn Tressler is missing out of Detroit, Michigan. Now, the last time she was seen was, I'm going to tell you right now, last time she was seen was, I believe it was, March 27th. Okay. Last time she was seen was March 27th. Now, what makes this case interesting is because the justice system failed Caitlyn. It failed Caitlyn before Caitlyn even got involved with this individual. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Now, before we get into the background of the person she was last seen with, let's tell you about what happened. All right. So there was a domestic disturbance call. Police showed up at her door. All right. Now, this is in Detroit. Police go to the door, knock on the door. Now, Caitlyn appears from a window, talks to the police from a window. OK. In the background, they also see her, what they think is ex-boyfriend or boyfriend. Now, media is not telling you who it is, but his name is Justin Sproul. Okay. So the police see Justin behind her. Now, they really don't tell us what the conversation was, but I can tell you one thing. When they showed up, Caitlyn was punched in the face. She had bruises on her face from being punched. The police did nothing. Now, where I live at right now in Florida, okay, if the police show up to your house for a domestic violence call, somebody has to go to jail. That's just the law here. Somebody's got to go to jail. There, I read up on the law. There is different. There, the police get to determine, if somebody needs to go to jail or not. So because police get to determine that, guess what? They determine nobody has to go to jail, gets arrested. Now, there was also a neighbor who heard them arguing and said, the neighbor said there was a fist fight. Okay, so the neighbor heard all this. Now, police end up leaving. Okay, and when they left, this is the last we saw of Caitlyn Trestler. We have not seen or heard from her since. Okay, I've spoken with individuals who were speaking to her daily. Okay, I've seen text messages between them, all kind of things. All right, well, after police left, there was a welfare check at that same place. Police were called to do a welfare check. Showed up, there was nothing. A landlord let them in. They walked inside the house. They looked inside the house, and it looked like somebody was moving, they said, all right? Well, Caitlyn has two vehicles. Both the two vehicles were left there in the driveway. Now, I believe they're impounded. They are in police custody. Now, Justin, the ex-boy, I'm not gonna even call him boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend did rent a U-Haul truck, okay? And I just told you, it looked like there was things being packed up in the house getting ready to move. So Justin rented a U-Haul truck. Justin apparently left the very next day with the U-Haul truck after the police saw them together through the window with Caitlyn bruises on her face. Never saw Justin again either. Now, police did locate that U-Haul, and that was the last bit of anything we've heard from law enforcement after that. We haven't heard nothing since then. Now, how I told you guys that the justice system failed Caitlyn, okay? As you saw, they showed up at the house. She's got bruises on her face. They don't do nothing. And then I told you earlier, the justice system failed Caitlyn before Caitlyn even got in this relationship. And I'm going to show you all this. Now, see, Justin has prior charges. I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 handfuls of charges. And we're not talking about simple petty theft. We're talking about 2016 bank robbery. Yes, folks, bank robbery. I looked it up. Now, Justin was living in, it was Virginia at the time. He was making sure it's correct. Yeah, he was living in Virginia. And I looked it up. The minimum for bank robbery is 5 years. You can get to life. Just depending. You have weapons involved, things like that. Okay? So it all depends. Now, before the robbery charge, he has charges of weapon possession, multiple charges of weapon possession, actually. Breaking and entry, burglary. We're going to go down the line. Let me show you his charges real quick. So Justin Sproul gets 5-year prison sentence. A man who was convicted of robbing an Albemarle County bank can expect to spend 5 years in prison. 33-year-old Justin Hunt Sproul has been convicted of the April 2016 holdup of Virginia National Bank on 29th North. During a Wednesday hearing, a judge gave Sproul 10 years and then suspended half of his sentence. Police say Sproul did not display a weapon. Now, I know in my last video, I told you guys about his background, but hey, if you didn't see it, I'm going to tell you again. This is his background. So 2006, it started with he violated protective orders, meaning somebody had protective orders on him, aka restraining order. Okay, now this is out of Louisiana. This is where his parents are from. So I'm thinking that he also grew up in Louisiana. Okay, so this is from there. Then I read you guys for 2016 robbery. Okay, 2016 robbery. 2014 grand larceny. 2014. I don't know what that is, but MTRGL of auto. I believe that might be some sort of grand theft auto, because Underneath there, you have grand art larceny auto. Then 2011, failure to appear. 2010, another grand larceny. This guy had robbery, felony charge, okay? Which is actually a serious crime. Robbing a bank is a serious crime, you guys. I mean, if you have a weapon or not, it's serious. That's federal time. It's serious, okay? Grand larceny, another serious charge, which he was supposed to get 10 years. 2014, he was supposed to get 10 years. A suspended sentence is what they gave him instead. The robbery charge, he was supposed to get 10 years, but guess what? The judge cut that in half and suspended 5 of that. I am going to tell you guys what I found out. All right. 2023, failure to display license plate. 2023, no state inspection. He's got a lot of stuff. 2016, felony possession of a weapon. Okay, / ammo, but it says no GUN. So he had some sort of weapon or ammo, but he didn't have the GUN, is what they're saying. This might have been when he got arrested. Okay, April 15th, 2016, because the robbery happened 2016. Now I'm going to tell you this part right here, why it probably says no GUN. I'll let you guys know. All right. So grand larceny, stole a vehicle 2014, firearm possession by a non-felon 2013. Watch this, stun weapon, so like a stun GUN 2013, assault and battery 2013, a warrant from 2010. I mean, it goes on and on. Now let's go down to this felony charge here and see if it tells us what he got. And it's not telling us what he got, but I'm going to tell you what I found out, what's going on with this guy and why his sentences keep getting suspended. Look, we're not done. Shoplifting 2013, shoplifting 2013, failure to appear 2014, A and B. I believe that's some sort of breaking the entry. Failure to appear 2013, concealed weapon again. Okay. 2012, possession of marijuana. And we're not done. 2013, possession of a non-violent felon. Another stun weapon. And that's it. All right, so this is from Detroit News. A boyfriend of a woman missing for 2 weeks and a person of interest in her disappearance. Detroit police said Caitlyn Trestler, 36, was last seen on March 27 in the 2700 block of Webb Street, near Tuxedo and Linwood Streets on Detroit's west side, according to authorities. Rest assured, a complete investigation is being conducted, said Rebecca MK, commander of the Detroit Police Department, Major Crimes Division. Anytime we get a call about a missing person who hasn't been seen, it is of the utmost concern. It goes to the front of the line. We're pulling out all the stops. Does it really go to the front of the line? I don't know. We're not going to quit until we can bring closure to the family or find the missing person. McKay also said a man who was either Tressler's ex-boyfriend or current boyfriend is a person of interest in the case. She added investigators have spoken with the man but declined to provide further details. I would call him a person of interest at this point in time, the commander said during a media briefing Tuesday. McKay also confirmed Detroit police were called between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. the day before Tressler vanished to a house where she was staying for a domestic violence incident. We made contact with Ms. Tressler through an open window where she spoke to police, the commander said. We also made contact with the male said to be her ex-boyfriend or possibly her current boyfriend who was inside the home. At some point, officers determined there was no threat and the decision was made to clear the run and notate their findings. McKay also addressed claims that officers failed to note Tressler was visibly injured. The commander said the department is conducting an internal investigation into the claims, but couldn't go into specifics. Police said officers were called to the same home for a welfare check 2 days after the domestic violence incident. So police said officers were called to the same home, okay, for a welfare check 2 days after the domestic violence incident. And let's not forget, when they did show up, she had bruises on her face and they did nothing about this. All right, guys. The landlord allowed officers to make entry to the home. McKay said it was clear of any person and there were no signs of a struggle. It actually looked like it had been packed up, like someone was moving out. Not someone did move out, but someone was moving out. She also said there are 2 more calls for welfare checks at the same home on the same day. Officers went to the home both times and knocked on the door. They did not receive an answer and did not enter. Following the welfare checks, a missing persons report was filed and police obtained a warrant to search the home. And the commander said officers executed the warrant and found the home was in the same condition as it was when they previously visited. McKay said 2 vehicles, both registered to Tressler, were parked in the home's driveway when officers conducted their search. So Tressler's vehicles were still at the house, so she didn't drive off with any of her cars. Police said both vehicles were impounded and they are being searched for evidence. McKay also said they investigated reports that Tressler's boyfriend rented a commercial box truck around the time she went missing. She declined to provide details but said police have recovered the truck. Detectives said they have not been notified by Tressler's family or friends that she has reached out to any of them. We're utilizing every tool that we have and we're collaborating with every agency. We're just asking that anybody who know where Miss Tressler is to call the police. Tressler is 5'10" tall, weighs around 200 pounds and has brown hair and brown eyes. She also has multiple tattoos. Now, I like to read multiple reports. Here's another report because this one actually gives you a little more detail, okay? It says, this is from WXYZ. Tressler was reported missing on April 2nd. Neighbors say they heard a fight involving her boyfriend before he left town in a U-Haul. Detroit police are searching for a missing woman on the city's west side. Of troubling details emerge about the days leading up to her disappearance. Caitlyn Trestler was last seen at her home on Webb Street on March 27th. The Detroit Police Department said her family reported her missing on April 2nd, okay? Sergeant Darren Zoo says the Detroit Police Department is actively investigating Tressler's disappearance. Neighbors reported hearing what sounded like a fight involving Tressler's boyfriend on the day she was last seen. So neighbors said they reported what sounded like a fight. Darmian Harvest, who lives in a unit above Tressler, said he had not seen her for a few days before the altercation. I'm guessing it was a fist fight because the cops showed up and everything late that night. Harvest said Tressler's boyfriend, who was not being named because he has not been charged with the crime, left town the following day. Justin Sproul. Justin, he was able to leave that very next day. The Saturday, he got a U-Haul, took off and left town. Where he went, I don't know, Harvest said. So Harvest said he was able to leave that very next day. So after that report happened, where the police showed up, she had bruises on her face. They talked to him through a window. He left the next day. So he said he got a U-Haul, took off and left town. Where he went, I don't know. Harvest said he did not see Tressler after that day. Alicia, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Alicia Gorgitz, a close friend of Tressler, said she fears for her safety. She sent me a text through Facebook in February telling me that she was moving back to Detroit and that she had left her boyfriend, saying she still loved him, but that he had done really bad things that she hadn't told me. Alicia, I was talking to her recently saying that, and Kat said that he was there. He had come to Detroit and that they were back together and thinking about moving back to Charlottesville yet again together. This is Alicia. Sorry if I butchered your last name. So basically they're saying that, she's saying that she left him, okay, and then moved to Detroit, which I've spoken to a couple other people, and this is what they even told me. She left him, moved to Detroit, okay, and then says that recently they got back together and she was thinking about moving back to Charlottesville yet again. Harvest police made several visits to the house in the days following the incident. I think it was either that Sunday or either that Monday. They came by and did their first wellness check, and then after that, they came back maybe a couple more times. And then after that, they came back with the full-on look like guys with SWAT gear, everything, and they bandaged on the door and forced their way in, Harvest said. Tressler was nowhere to be found. Now her family and friends are hoping she is found safe. She is beautiful soul, beautiful person. She is very kind. She probably made friends while she was there. Caitlin, Alicia said, Caitlin, man, she seems so nice and bubbly, friendly and neighborly. Now that's what Harvest said. Now that you see all these charges, okay, I know you're asking to yourself, why is he even out? What's going on? Why did he only get 5 years? Why does the judge keep suspending this man's sentence? Well, I spoke with somebody who allegedly was on Justin's case, one of his cases. You know what? I'm not even going to say allegedly because I saw it, saw the paperwork. This person, okay, Justin pretty much told on them. So Justin, I guess, has been, when he gets in trouble with these weapons, this is how it works for you guys who don't know. When the police arrest you, okay, and I described how this goes down in some of my videos. But for some of you guys that have missed it or don't know, have never gotten in trouble before, this is kind of how it goes down, all right? So, just an example. You are a criminal, you're on the corner, you're selling narcotics, okay? What usually happens is, now there's a difference between sheriff, local people busting you and federal agents bust you. Totally different the way how they do it, okay? Federal will let you keep doing it, and just watch you, let you dig yourself a hole, then they'll finally bust you. Local will bust you right away, okay? So, this is what they do a lot of times, all right? So let's say you're on the corner, you're selling narcotics. You get busted by the police, okay? Now, if you already have charges on you, let's say you already have charges on you that you already did some time, jail time, you're looking at doing more time now, all right? Detectives could give you a chance to pretty much set yourself free. Give yourself a get out of jail free card. Now, we know you're selling narcotics. You've been busted already a couple times for this. So we'll give you the opportunity to let us know who you're getting the narcotics from. Or do you have any partners you're selling the narcotics with? Then it's up to you if you decide if you want to give these names up. You give these names up. Now what happens is prosecution will not go so hard on you in a courtroom. And sometimes they can recommend lower sentences and not, let's say how that robbery was from 5 years to life. Oh, we only recommend 10 or we recommend 5. You get where I'm going? So when you have a weapons charge, the exact same thing. And you saw it said felony in possession of a weapon. When you're a felon, you're not supposed to have no weapons like that, okay? Unless your record's expunged and things like that. It depends on the state. But you're not supposed to have any weapons when you're a felon. And when I'm looking at this, ain't no way it got expunged because all his stuff is back to back to back. So ain't no way. Half this stuff, it looks like he's probably still on papers, meaning he's still on probation, whatever, okay? It didn't even look like he completed the sentence before he got into a next one. Well, most likely when you get busted with these weapons and you're a felon already, you know, you're not supposed to have one, they're going to ask you how you even got the weapon in the first place because you can't just go buy one. So how did you get it? We'll give you an opportunity to let us know where you got the weapon from because this person's not even supposed to be giving you a weapon in the first place because you're a felon. So why don't you let us know? This, ladies and gentlemen, is why this guy has been getting off with these sentences and getting 10 years suspended sentence, 5 years suspended sentence. You know, this is why exactly. Okay. There was rumors going around with it when I spoke with some people and voila, I found out this is what happened. All right. The guy's been informant and been telling on people. So this is why he's been getting out like that, back to back to back. And now look, he's with Caitlin. But hey, This is why I'm said the justice system failed her. Not only that, the people that I spoke with about Caitlyn, they said that Caitlyn actually broke up with Justin because he was abusive, moved to Detroit to start a new life, pretty much start anew, and she was happy being there. Matter of fact, one of the people I spoke with said that Caitlyn wanted them to move to Detroit so they could be closer, all right? Because she was so happy there. And then all of a sudden, Justin pops back up in the scene, and just like that, she's supposed to be moving back to Charlottesville. If something don't sound right, I don't know. Could she have maybe got back with him? We don't know because she's not around to talk to. She shouldn't have been with him in the first place because he should have been locked up. But hey, I just run this YouTube channel. I don't run the courtroom or run the law. But there is proof that she was abused by him too. I have this picture right here. And as you see, it says, Justin broke my other phone. I'm just on Wi-Fi with this, but I'll be able to get my working one replaced. I landed a $150K job today working for Jacuzzi. I'm in shock. He's moving out. He knows what he's done. I diffused the situation. So I wonder if this is what she looked like when the police showed up. But he's nowhere to be found. She's nowhere to be found. I tried calling her phone. It's disconnected. I tried messaging her on her Facebook. It's disconnected. I even tried calling Justin's phone. It's disconnected. I do know that he's originally from Louisiana. Both his parents are from Louisiana. His father has a business down there. I'm not going to name the business. I'm not going to tell you guys where it's at, but it is in Louisiana. So it's a good chance that he could have went back to Louisiana. Here's the thing. A lot of times fugitives, what they do is, and I usually call this out every time, when they go on the run, they usually go to a place they are familiar with first. They go to a place they're familiar with first, or they go to somebody they can trust or they think they can trust first. So, and it could be a combination of one of those. So for example, if there's nobody for him to trust, but he's familiar with Louisiana because he knows they're looking for him in Detroit, looking for him in Charlottesville. So he's going to leave out of that area and go to Louisiana because he's familiar with it, and then lay his head, rest, and then, from there decide what he wants to do. Or they'll go lay their head with somebody they can trust. A lot of times it is a person that's on the side, meaning he could have been speaking with another female that nobody knew about, that he met online or something like that. And now he's at her door, popped up at her door, and she might not even know anything about what's going on. Okay. Happens a lot. It happened just in a case I was covering in Houston, matter of fact, with a young lady who was pregnant. Unfortunately, she was found unalive by her baby's father. And he left Houston and went to Louisiana as well, and was with some girl he met online. So it happens a lot. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's in Louisiana or somewhere around that area, or trying to make his way up north more because he's from Virginia. But hopefully they catch them soon. If you have any information, my information is below. Go ahead, contact me. All right. Like I said, I hope they found her soon. All right. Let's go on to Nancy Guthrie. All right. So we all know who Nancy Guthrie is, right? I'm pretty sure you don't have to know who she is. We all know. I've made, probably 15 to 20 videos on Nancy Guthrie. Okay. We are going on almost 2 months now that she has been missing. Nobody has seen her. It's been a mystery. Some people are even wondering if this is staged, fake, if the camera, the guy on the porch is fake. A lot of people are wondering, and if it is, I would not be shocked. I'm just letting you guys know I wouldn't even be shocked because nothing shocks me nowadays. But for you guys who've been following me, I have been speaking with a couple people about this. So I've been speaking with a source that I do have in Pima County. Okay. This source told me that so far, they really don't have anything going right now. Okay. They don't have anything going. Now, they did have that strand of hair that they found, the DNA that they did send up to Virginia to Quantico. So far, to their knowledge, they don't know if anything's came back with that yet, but they believe that it's like, let's say if you want to do a, out of 100%, maybe they're relying 5 to 10% on that because the hair is so small and there's no root on the hair. I'm actually going to do a video for you guys on how DNA works and how they catch these criminals with the DNA and how they don't catch criminals with mixed up DNA and things like that. I'm going to do a video for you guys, but on that. But for right now, they told me this is all they know. They don't really know much so far. If somebody does know something, like if somebody knows a name or a lead or anything like that, they don't know it because it's shut. They're keeping it so shut that, it's behind closed doors shut. Nobody's saying anything. They even told me at one point that some of the people are walking around like they don't want to even solve it. Like almost like they don't care. And they said they're boggled by this. They don't understand exactly what's going on because there's so much stuff behind a closed door. Now, I will tell you this. That's not the only person I know. I told you before. I've told you, I think a month and a half ago, maybe even 2 months ago. Okay. Now, see, Tucson, I was actually in Tucson. I was in Tucson when I was on the run. So I crossed that border into Mexico. Oh my God. Probably about a good 3 or 4 times. All right. I know all the ins and outs of going through that border. I know the tunnel. Well, not all the tunnels, but there is. I've been through a tunnel. I've been through walking across through there because walking to Mexico, half time they don't even check anything. Now coming back into America is a different story. That's when you have to do other things, tunnels and things like that. But I've done it. All right. So I know exactly what it's like, what you have to do, what you have to look out for. Now, when I did this, I had to have certain connections to do this, obviously, because you don't just stumble across a tunnel and start walking through. You can get unalived. All right. Now here, we can't say the MURDER word because smaller channels like mine, they will flag it. So I have to use unalived. And until then, please subscribe. Help me get more subscribers. I just reached 25,000 subscribers in the past year. I'm one of the fastest growing channels in the true crime sector. So thank you so much. Let's make it 30,000. So please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. All right. And then eventually in the future, I can start taking some of these filtered words off. But I couldn't just stumble across a tunnel and start using it. A lot of these tunnels are actually in a business or in a house. So you have to know somebody to know somebody to know somebody. Well, I spoke with a coyote back when this almost all happened, okay? And if you guys don't know what a coyote is a person that helps smuggle people across the border, okay? That's what they do, all right? Coyotes also work for a bigger organization. They don't just work for themselves. They work for a bigger organization, all right? I'm not going to tell you who it is, but they do. So what happens is somebody from South America, if they want to come up, let's say the coyote might charge them $5,000. This person pays the coyote $5,000. Now this coyote has to take some of that money and pay off the organization, because what the organization does is they kind of help the coyote stay safe. They give him inside info and things like that. All right. Well, Coyote told me a long time ago that they had to cease operations for a bit because agents were at the border, okay, investigating the border because they believe that one of the suspects might have been dead, but on the Mexico side of the border. All right. And notice how I said one of the suspects, because from day one, I always said it was more than one. As soon as I saw this, said more than one. It's not just one, more than one. 2 or 3 at the minimum. Well, one of them might be not here with us anymore. Okay. This could explain why nobody's told on anybody, why this $1 million reward hasn't got caught up, or nobody's called for it, things like that. Right. Could explain a lot of things. Well, I talked to them. They told me that. Now I spoke to somebody who is actually in prison right outside of Yuma, Arizona, which is not far from Tucson. Okay. For you guys who don't know, people in prison, a lot of times will find out information in prison before us people walking the streets free will find out the information. And the reason why they'll find out the information, because you have a lot of shot callers who are in prison. Okay, so these people were called the shot. So since they're calling the shot, think about it. That's where it came from, right? Came from this person. That's why the information spreads so easily in prison before it gets to the street. Okay. Or if somebody gets arrested, okay? If somebody gets arrested that's involved with a crime, a lot of times they'll get arrested, and a lot of times we won't know about it till a day later or whatever, but they'll put them in jail, okay? And when they put them in jail, words out in the street, are words in prison already. Oh, such and such just got arrested because somebody see him. They're right there looking at him. Word goes through it really quick. They send what is called kites. They'll call somebody on the outside, give them code words. Then they'll call somebody in. It's all kind of things that go on, all right? Some guards get paid off. There's a lot of things that go on there that I know a lot of people don't understand, that's never been there. And please don't even try and go there to figure it out, please. But they told me the same thing, that one of the suspects is no longer with us. Now, they couldn't mention any names or anything like that because then, I mean, think about it. They mention a name and they're talking to me, especially if it's a recorded line. Now they're going to get questioned because they mentioned a name. Now, you can mention, oh, this person might be over here all they want to, okay? And if they do question them, the guy still didn't say a name. So in certain ways you have to talk, all right? When you're talking to these individuals and you're trying to get information out of them. So that was part of the information I got for that. Now, I said a long time ago, I said, I don't think this is going to be solved anytime soon. I said this maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the case. I said, I don't think this is going to be solved anytime soon. When I saw President Trump commenting on it, I was like, this ain't going to be solved anytime soon. I don't even think they want us to solve this anytime soon. And then I start saying the longer this goes, the more people are going to start just thinking about all kind of things that could have happened to Nancy. And I even made a comment a few times. Some people are going to start thinking aliens came down and kidnapped her. Okay? Well, you have the porch guy, right? You know how many emails I've got from people, okay, claiming that, one, they're the porch guy. 2, I know the porch guy. 3, my son was the porch guy. I'm not done. 4, my grandfather was the porch guy. I know he was. I know he was the porch guy. We're not done. I even had somebody hit me up saying, I think it's my teacher is the porch guy. You guys, I've had so many people hit me up about this. And I'm not saying these people are wrong, but what's going on is you have a case, all right, where we have no names. We have no nothing but this video of somebody dressed head to toe. So it's human nature for us to try and figure out who this individual is that's dressed head to toe. And then after that, it's human nature to try and, not even on purpose, but maybe to look at somebody as suspect, as in like, oh my God, there's red flags with you. Wow, you could have did it. You look like him. You could have did it. You look like him. So I don't blame individuals who think somebody else is. I don't blame them whatsoever. I mean, hey, you never know. One of y'all could be right. Who knows? But the one thing I have been saying from day one, and I've been saying this, is that you have to think like you're in court, okay? This guy is masked up, covered up from head to toe. The only thing we got positive that we know for a fact, okay, is probably his height. For a fact. We don't know his weight. We don't know how many layers of clothes he had on underneath that jacket. All right. We don't know those shoes if they were too big for his feet. He had 2 gloves on. So we don't know if he had bony hands. We don't know any of this because he could have had multi-layers of clothes to camouflage his appearance. He already had 2 gloves on. I was the first one to call it that he had 2. As soon as they showed us that, I say he's got 2 gloves on. Okay. I was the first one to call that. He's got 2 gloves on. No way that's 1 glove. Then when I saw the 2 gloves, I was like, wait. This guy, either somebody told him to do that or he's done this before. One of the two. There was just a bunch of stuff in the video that I peeped that some people peeped and thought it was very weird or amateurish, or I should say amateurish. And then some things I looked at, I was like, hold on, wait, y'all looking as an amateur, but I'm looking at something different. I'm looking at maybe this guy was doing some of the stuff on purpose to throw us off. That's the way I was looking at it. This looked like he was doing this on purpose. The whole holster and the weapon, it didn't match. It just looked like things were done on purpose. Like I said, the 2 gloves, purpose. Now, yes, he has a mask on. From the view, it looks like we can see a mustache and an eyebrow, correct? Am I right? It looks like we see that. But how do we know he wasn't wearing a flesh mask under that mask? But yeah, I'm like, how do we know? We don't know. So when it comes to me personally, trying to be like, this guy looks like the person in the mask, because I guess I think my thinking's a little different. I'm like, I don't know, because we don't know what he even looks like under the mask, because we don't know if he's wearing another mask under the mask. We don't know, because these masks are so easy to get. There's a lot of people that I know that I ran into personally when I was in that underworld that would own these masks and do crimes or do certain transactions with these masks on. A lot of them did. These masks, you guys, are popular across the border, okay? Very popular across the border for people to do certain transactions across the border. All right, because over there it's a little more ruthless, a little more cutthroat. It is. So they would wear these masks to conceal their identity. So that way, if something went wrong and they had to get up out of Dodge and get up out of there, they don't know who they're looking for, But I wondered this, like, how do we know? How do we know we're looking for this guy? How do we know it's a guy? We really don't know. Now, there was other people that came out. I did a video already on it. I'm not going to just talk about everything now, but I think his name was Richard Nolette. Richard Nolette came out and he went on to another YouTuber's channel, Sleuth Intuition. And he also was claiming that his family members had something to do with Nancy. It was part of a cult. He started going to all kind of stuff, and he seemed smart, but at the same time, it's like he had some sort of a mental illness. And he also, I got the feeling that he wanted some sort of attention. That's the feeling I got from him, just by how he was talking. It just felt like he needed, I need friends. I need somebody to spend, attention to me, which could be true, which could not be true, but that's just the feeling I got. But I'm thinking to myself, why are you not calling FBI with this and getting your $1 million reward? He said he wanted protection, and I'm like, huh? Us YouTubers can't give you no protection. And he said he tried to contact them and send them a 40-page letter. And I'm like, thinking to myself, why would you write a 40-page? Why do you need to write 40 pages? Just say, where Nancy's at, and I think this is who did it. I need to talk with you. All you need to do, you need to write 40 pages because it looks like you want attention. It does. 40 pages is a lot. Then she's located, or he says she's located in a lake that we can't even search. Nobody's allowed to search the lake. Something like that. Some of these people, when they contact me, if you don't do your research, you would think, oh, this person's grandfather did do it. Okay. But I did the research, and guess what? Guess what? Grandfather wasn't even nowhere by there. Lady thought her husband did it. I did the research. Husband's in Thailand. In Thailand. Not even in the country. So yeah, I'm getting so many of these calls, or not calls, but emails. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for somebody to say aliens took Nancy. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to say I have proof that Nancy was beamed up in the UFO. It is going to happen. Now, I don't know what happened with this woman. I went down so many rabbit holes. I probably dug the deepest rabbit holes probably out of almost any YouTuber that you can think of about the Middle Eastern people, about her neighbors, the family, the bandmate. I went through all of them, okay? And what I think definitely was somebody inside. I just don't know what the motive would be. And I've been saying this for the 100th time. If you figure out what the motive is, you solve the case. Did they do this on purpose and then show us this propped up video on purpose? I don't know. But I'm keeping my options open, not tunnel vision. But you guys let me know below. What do you think? Please like and subscribe, okay? Turn on your notifications. I will be bringing another video like I always do. Love one another. Take care of one another. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you're watching this from. I try to interact with everybody, city, state, country, whatever you want to choose. Watch out for your surroundings. Look out at your surroundings. Until next time, this is Fugitive TV, and I'm out.